I don't have the date, but
April, it was January 5th.
January 5th. Yeah, I move that we approve the minutes for January 5th, 2023 meeting.
I second.
It has been moved and properly second that the minutes from the January 5th, 2023 minutes be approved. Roll call vote.
Ms. Fletcher?
Aye.
Mrs. Bushman?
Aye.
Mr. Kessler?
Aye.
Mr. Harbert?
Aye.
The minutes are approved as recorded. Good evening to those persons who are in attendance. If you did not sign the roster right outside of the door, please do so that we can have a record of the persons who participated in this deliberation. Okay? With that, this board is composed of 5 persons with 2 supernumeraries and is empowered by the Alabama State Legislature, but appointed by the City Council and is charged with hearing petitions for relief from a literal and strict application of the zoning code. Cases are heard in the order in which they are filed. Motions are made in the positive, and each case requires a positive vote of at least 4 members. A simple majority will not approve an action. The burden of proof for variances and special exceptions rests with the petitioner. Any party aggrieved by any decision of this board may within 15 days file a written notice of appeal to the circuit court. And with that, for those persons who will be presenting cases tonight, we've already announced that we only have 4 members in attendance. That means that once your case is heard, in order for it to be approved, it will require a positive vote of all 4 members who are participating in this decision-making process. We always give the petitioner an opportunity to decide if you would like to present your case with just 4 of us, whether you will wait until we have a full board with 5 voting members. So that will be your decision. And I will ask you as you come up if that is what you would like to do. So if we are following our agenda, our first petition is case number variance 2023-001, and it is in regard to 12205 County Line Road. Will the person who is presenting the petition please come forward to the mic and state your name?
I do not see anybody here that would be a representative of that.
Okay, so then we'll make the decision whether the 4 of us should even consider it, or should we make the decision not to because there are only 4?
Yeah, we can still consider it.
Yeah, we have done it without the presenter or the petitioner being here. But since there were 4, that means that all 4 of us would have to vote for approval if we decide to do that. I didn't know whether we wanted to, but I have no problem with it. Okay, since we don't have a presenter, board members have had an opportunity to review the applicant's package, and you have also had an opportunity to view the staff report. Before going to hear comments from the board, I'd like to know if there's anybody in attendance who would like to speak for or against this particular request, this petition. Anybody? All right, if not, at this time, I'll entertain comments by board members who would like to make an observation.
Well, I have a question. Does anybody know what the purpose of this building is? What are they planning to store there? It just seems like an unusual request for a medical office building.
Johnny, do you have the answer to that? Did they give you a reason for the necessity?
And my second question would be, I know that I can't really tell from the pictures, is this the office building, is it of exterior brick construction, do you know?
If I remember right, it's brick and stone.
Rock face.
That's what I thought. And if this is the example of what they're planning to put there, it's siding.
It's my issue with it. Now, Johnny did, there is in the staff recommendation that the building's exterior and design must be in accordance with Section 4-7-7 of the zoning board, that's a good question, Johnny, and them showing this example that they provided us tonight, which is.
I want to use this, Mike, because when I go back to the website and, to do minutes and, really listen to this picks up well, so that's why I'm coming up here. The application is their application. It is what they originally submitted, so when I send you the application, it hasn't varied during that time when they submitted it, and you get it. However, during that time, I've had many conversations with them, and one of them was very, matter of fact, you can't have a metal building there. That's not ever going to happen.
Right.
You can't just throw a little paint on it. It's got to be something that is more of a permanent nature and meets the architectural requirements that are actually for the B2 district. This is B3, but there is a caveat in the zoning ordinance that some of those commercial areas that front County Line Road actually have to meet the B2 requirements. So they would have to meet those. Wood, stucco, brick, stone, glass as an idea of the type of materials they would have to have. It has to have a similar appearance to the existing structure. So that would be the case on the architecture. If you approved it, and you approved it with that contingency, when it comes to us for a permit, we would review all of that and it would have to comply.
I think my biggest concern is this, he attached on the application a copy of his email, with Graceland portable building quote, Rocket City metal and portable buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't seem like it's a
And I think
structure built or a site built building. It's actually a portable building.
I kept going back and forth with them on that. Then, well, it's going to be, it's going to be personally built, for them. But at the same time, the people who do that, who are going to supply the building, don't normally do that. And again, what I said over there, if we get into questions about use inside the building or things that I can't answer, you don't have to vote on this tonight. You can continue it if you don't know everything you need to know.
But that same correspondence, though, referenced back to section 4-7-7, which specified, of course, it cannot be metal, but there is an opening there for a decision to be made, because it says the director of planning may approve alternative materials not listed, but a metal-sided building would definitely not be approved. Then there was a caveat in one of them that said that the materials used had to be comparable to the other facilities. So I just assumed that was our way of covering it, but if not, I stand corrected.
I'm sorry. What, John?
I said, I know the director of planning, and I said, she will not approve a metal building.
Okay.
Well, according to this spec sheet, it's T111 siding, which is basically 3/4 inch plywood siding. It's going to look just like the one sitting in the lot up there at Lowe's that are for sale that you can drive away with today. And it says here it's going to be anchored with mobile home anchors. So that is going to look really, really tacky in the lot of a nice office building.
Right. And like I said, I've tried to make them aware that what we're going to expect. Drainage is another issue. I don't know if you read that. There's a grate there. There's a private storm drain there. They're going to have to stay off of that and make sure that that water does not get obstructed and going where it's supposed to go. It's another thing that we would take very seriously if it's in the side yard.
I don't know. I just think.
We did have 2 additional emails, and they are addressing the same situation. With one of them, well, I've just read the section, and then it also refers us to the information that's covered in section 4-8-7. So there is some concern about that, and one of the emails, let's see.
One of the emails was actually from the applicant, Dr. Aurora, and, that, said he would comply with what we needed to comply with architecturally. He confirmed that he would do it. The other is from, a adjoining resident who did have some concerns about the metal siding too.
And could we approve it on, or vote on it with a contingency that it be a site-built storage building rather than a portable?
If you wanted to make that yes.
And that it has
I would
to
think
match
so, I'd say that.
architectural as the existing.
Yeah, but it's site-built and it's not held down by mobile home makers
Yeah.
or those windows. Because if they site-built it, they'd have to have a permit and build it per code. Yeah, I have to have a permit anyway. I've been in this business way too long and seen way too many metal buildings. It's like,
You're quite comfortable not using the purpose, but. Okay, board, would you, like to add the, conditions that were stated in the staff requirements along with the last one that was just made as a part of the motion? Or would you rather we table? What is your disposition? Board members? No preference?
I have an opinion, but,
My problem is they're asking for a variance without a plan. And I think the original application did not meet the requirements.
we've making a motion, but I'm afraid it's not going to end well if we make it based on this. Well, we're not trying to be hard to get along with, but if we could give him the opportunity to come back and try to talk to us again, or take his chances on what we do tonight.
Well, since we're not sure about the intent and we feel uncomfortable about it.
Well, we could put all
It may
kinds
be
of
better that
contingencies.
No, I mean the
Yeah.
intent of the
Okay.
structure.
Madam Chairman, I will make the motion that, in reference to case number variance 2023-001, located at 12205 County Line Road, requesting the variance to section 4-6A-4.2 to allow detached accessory building in the side yard, and the variance to section 4-6A-6 to reduce the side yard setback from 15 to 6 feet, that we, continue this.
I would say to the next meeting. I'm not sure if we got a request yet, so I would just say to the next.
To the next meeting, that we continue this to the next board meeting that is held, due to the lack of information that the board requires.
Is there a second?
I would second that motion.
It has been moved and properly second that in case number, variance 2023-001, 1205 County Line Road, requesting a variance to section 4-6A 4.2 to allow a detached accessory building in the side yard, and a variance to section 4-6A6 to reduce the side yard setback from 15 feet to 6 feet, be continued to our, next meeting. Yes, okay. Well, will be continued to our next meeting due to inadequate information. Roll call vote. Aye.
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 Okay, it has, the motion passes, so we will, this will be continued to our next meeting. All right? In our next case, case number variance 2023-002, lots 1 through 26, in Arlington Park subdivision. We have a presenter for that case. Would you please come to the podium and state your name?
Yes, Luke Mathias. I'm representing the developer and the home builder. Just as a summary, kind of from the staff report, we, Morel Engineering designed the subdivision. There was an existing 50-foot utility and drainage easement on the east side of the property where a stream runs and a sanitary sewer line runs. During the design process, we accounted for this 50-foot easement, but towards the end of the process, after we had already designed everything, Madison Utilities came back and requested an additional 10 feet of easement to make a 60-foot open easement. With that, it kind of restricted our lots, the back of the lots, to where this easement ate up an additional 10 feet where fences need to be placed in order to meet plat restrictions. So it kind of put us in a bind to where these lots really can't, you can't really build the product that they're wanting with a backyard and a fence. So with that being said, we're asking to scoot these townhomes up approximately 7 feet in order to be able to build the townhome and a fenced-in backyard. In addition to that, we're also requesting to vacate a portion of this 5-foot easement through City Council. We currently have that on the next agenda. If that is passed, we will only be moving these buildings up 2 feet to where it would be reduced from a 25-foot setback to a 23-foot setback. So it's...
What was the last number, 25 feet to what?
To 23 feet instead of 18 feet. So it won't be really noticeable at all. They all are attached multifamily units, and they'll, even if we do have to keep them up to the 18 feet, there'll still be plenty of room for a vehicle to park and not block a sidewalk. So, you know, we're hoping that the easement vacation gets approved as well, to where we can scoot the buildings as far back as possible and close to the 25-foot, which is consistent throughout the subdivision. But that's kind of a summary of the request. If y'all have any questions, I can answer those.
Oh, it's pretty clear. But board members, do I have any questions from any of you? Any concerns? Okay, Johnny, in wording this motion, it's pretty clear as to what the request was. But in wording the motion, should we leave it as stated in the case, or do we need to make any reference at all to what that would be should the City Council approve the request? Is that something that we should just leave out and just handle the request as it appears on the agenda?
I would recommend you just make it like it is on the agenda. I believe that it'll pass. All the utilities and departments is passed and on the vacation, so I'm pretty sure it's going to go forward. But I would just make your motion on what they asked for.
Okay, and not add the condition, should the council approve, then the setback would only be changed 2 feet rather.
I don't think so. Okay, was it a staff I didn't.
Yeah, it was a staff recommendation, that's why.
Yeah,
We have to include staff.
Should probably be better.
Another on our staff wrote this, and I didn't realize it was a staff recommendation. If it's a staff recommendation,
Then we need to put it on.
yeah.
Well, I just did that part, that way just.
Madam Chairman, I will make a motion that in case number variance 2023-002, lots 1 through 26 in Arcadia at Arlington Park subdivision, south of Royal Drive, Morrell Engineering is requesting a variance to section 4-5(3.1) to reduce the front yard setback from 25 feet to 18 feet, with the condition added that the applicant is going before the City Council to ask for a 5-foot easement that could be vacated. If that should happen, the vacation of the easement is approved, the reduction of the front yard setback would be changed to 2 feet rather than the requested 7 feet. As a result, the front yard setback would be reduced to 23 feet in the event that the vacation of a portion of the open utility and drainage easement is approved in the rear. I stumbled, but you know where I was going with this.
Yeah, we'll see how close I come. Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Okay, in case number variance 2023-002, lots 1 through 26 in Arcadia at Arlington Park subdivision, be granted a variance to section 4-5, 3.1 to reduce the front yard setback from 25 feet to 18 feet with the condition, if the vacation is approved by the city council, where they're requesting the vacation of a 5-foot wide strip of the 60-foot open UND easement on the rear of the subject properties, which would add an additional 5 linear feet to the rear yards of the subject lots, that we would put in, the condition will be put in place that with approval of the requested variance, if the vacation of easement is approved, the reduction of the front yard setback will be changed from 2 feet rather than the requested 7 feet, which as a result, the front yard setback will be reduced from 23 feet and will reduce to 23 feet. I think I got it all. Okay. Roll call vote.
Mrs. Fletcher?
Aye.
Mrs. Bushman?
Aye.
Mr. Kessler? Aye. Mr. Harper?
Aye.
The variance as stated is approved.
And with all those words.
Well, I think, well, with their recording and with the statement from
That's
the,
why I said we still will
from
take
the
it.
agenda itself and the last part of the staff's recommendation added, we would have it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, with that, so we have one more case. Case number variance 2023-003, 119 Oakland Trace, where we have a request for a variance to section 5-9A to permit an accessory structure within the side yard, and a variance to section 5-9D to increase the proportion of the floor area of the accessory structure to the principal structure from 25% to 38%. And sir, would you please state your name and make your presentation?
My name is Harry Sloan. I live at 119 Oakland Trace. We've lived there since 2019. We moved up from Birmingham, and we were lucky to find a nice single-level house because I don't go up and step downstairs very well anymore. The pool came with the house. We weren't looking for one, but it did. So the lot is laid out where the house is set well back, and the pool takes up the majority of the backyard. And when I moved in, I noticed that they had utilized part of the normal garage space on one side, about 8 feet of it, to build a laundry room and bathroom. That has worked out nice because that's handy to the pool, but it made the garage very narrow. In fact, you can't drive 2 cars in there and get out, open the doors and get out. It's so narrow. So we've got a lot of stuff stored in there. We've got a lot of stuff stored in the building that's toward the back of the lot. And I really had planned to go ahead and ask for a detached garage when we actually first moved in, but COVID happened, so I have put it off this long. So that's pretty much the situation. The proposed garage would be, I debated about what kind of siding it would have, and then I finally came to the conclusion that it ought to be built to match the house, with the same red brick and the same shingles and everything that the house is built with. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Mr. Sloan, you have reviewed the staff recommendation, right?
Yes,
Okay, well, is it possible that the first portion, of course, was pretty clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you possibly address the recommendation that was given in the second portion of the report, where it specifies in order to build the accessory structure without a variance, the applicant would need to remove the existing accessory structure and reduce the size of the proposed detached garage, and is that just not an option to you?
It's not something I prefer. The accessory building is in the back of the lot, behind the fencing. You can't see it from the street, and it's the way it's in there now. I don't know when it was put in, but now it would be very difficult to get it out of there because of the restrictions of the pool and the pool and the decking around the pool and the fence. Just something, it could be done, but it's not desirable. Plus, I really need that storage space also.
What's the purpose of the storage space?
Well, I have a lot of tools, and I have 3 vehicles, one of which is a '55 Chevrolet pickup that I have owned since 1977. And my father and I rebuilt it in 1979, restored it, and I'm in the process of restoring it again. So that's one of my storage needs.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
board members, anybody with questions? Nobody? Okay. Okay, we had one email, and Johnny, I haven't had, okay, I see it now. We had one email from a Mr. Christopher Umstead, and he states, please put it on the record that I support granting both variances. The requested additional garage in the proposed location works well with the existing open neighborhood feel and aesthetics, assuming they are finishing it to match their house exterior and the neighborhood look. Also, our lot's large, so the addition of a detached 2-car garage will not feel imposing or crowding. Thanks for reaching out to code enforcement on my behalf. I'm sorry.
The code enforcement part was for a whole other question.
Oh, okay, I know when I slowed up, I didn't get it. Okay.
I guess I do have a question. I mean, the new structure that you're building
Yes,
is an additional 2-car garage?
that's correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it an oversized 2-car garage?
Well, it's a little longer. Normally, a 2-car garage is typically 24 by 24, I understand. And I'm asking for an additional 4 feet in order to store, for storage.
And, Johnny, have we had any other phone calls, emails other than the one we have? Is there anybody in the audience who came to speak to this particular case? Okay.
Do you want this in 2 different motions?
Real quick, is the plan to access the garage, from the side that's 24 feet, so would you be adding any concrete or asphalt or anything to your driveway?
On the existing driveway, you know, to go in the existing garage, you turn left. Mm-hmm. It has a wing on it to the right, in order to you can back out and go out. I was going to use that to go into the new garage.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Almost no change in the driveway.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? If not, I entertain a motion for approval.
Thank you.
Want to do it?
Madam Chairman, I will, let me get back to my numbers here. In reference to case number variance 2023-003, 119 Oakland Trace, Harry and Cynthia Sloan are requesting a variance to section 5-A to permit an accessory structure within the side yard.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that in case number variance 2023-003, 119 Oakland Terrace, variance to section 5.9A be granted to permit an accessory structure within the side yard. Roll call vote.
Mrs. Fletcher?
Aye.
Mrs. Bushman?
Aye.
Mr. Hessler?
Aye.
Mr. Harper?
Aye.
Okay. The first part of your variance request is approved. All right, at this time, I will entertain a motion for the second part of that request.
Okay, Madam Chairman, I will move that, in reference to case number variance 2023-003, 119 Oakland Trace, Harry and Cynthia Sloan are requesting a variance to section 5-9D to increase the proportion of the floor area of the accessory structure to to the principal structure from 25% to 38%.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and properly second in case number variance 2023-003, 119 Oakland Trace, approve a variance to section 5-9D to increase the proportion of the floor area of the accessory structure to the principal structure from 25% to 38%. Roll call vote.
Mrs. Fletcher?
Aye.
Mrs. Bushman?
Nay.
Mr. Kessler?
Aye.
Nay.
The second portion of the request has been denied. For the first part, you may coordinate with Mr. Blissett and his staff to get your paperwork. Thank you. All right, back to our agenda. Do we have any unfinished business that needs to come before the board? Any unfinished business?
The only thing is, when I left you last, you had tabled or continued a parking variance request for the self-storage unit that was going to be constructed down the street. They, at the same time, applied for a text amendment to the zoning code to change the ratio to something that worked for them and was actually something specific to self-storage, whereas before it all was warehouse. All kinds of warehouses had the same ratio. And that text amendment passed. So the need for them to have a variance went away. And I just wanted to tell you what happened.
Okay, thank you for that update. Any other business to come before the board for the good of the order? Okay, nothing? Okay, sometimes people say I need to have a motion for adjournment. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Fletcher?
Aye.
Mrs. Bushman?
Aye.
Mr. Kessler?
Aye.
Mr. Arbor?
Aye.
We are officially adjourned, and thank you for your participation.